Hello, Show Me Mo School Facilities listeners and viewers. This is your host, Joshua Peach, back at it. We said we were coming back strong, and we are. We're on episode 17, and I am in a Hampton Inn in Plant City, Missouri. Last week, I was in a cubicle in an office building for my podcast, so I'm committed to do this from wherever I'm at. Sleep deprived or not, ready to rock and roll. Today's going to be a fun one. They're all fun ones, but this is kind of an interesting one and a unique one. Show Me Mo School Facilities podcast was built, hosted by the Missouri School Plant Managers Association, which was a K-12 public school supported organization. And recently, not only have they gotten some members in the community college world, they've got a community college board member added to the list, and really an exciting time for MSPMA. I think they now can expand and grow to other aspects and other areas. And I am honored to have with us today Mr. Raymond Wade from he's the College Director of Facilities and Grounds at Ozarks Technical Community College. So first of all, Raymond, welcome aboard the podcast.
Well, thank you, Josh. It's a pleasure to talk to you today and discuss MSPMA and all the activity that hopefully I can bring to the organization. So I look forward to today's conversation.
So I'm excited to get into this because there's a lot I want to learn about you, and so I think we'll start at the beginning. So one of the questions I like to ask, because this is kind of a unique role. A lot of, there's not necessarily a program that people grow up and say, I want to be a facility director for a school or a community college or what have you. So there are some folks that dream of it. There are some folks. Josh Schaefer was one. He's a second generation facility professional that he grew up around his dad doing it. So how did you decide you wanted to be a facility director, and a little bit of your background, and then also, what you do at the college today and kind of what your college looks like?
So let's see. I've lived in the Springfield area coming up now on 20 years. While I've been in Springfield, that pretty much is my entire facility management background. Prior to that, I was in an industry that allowed me to move a little bit around the Midwest. I lived in St. Louis and Kansas City and Topeka. But I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee, and I ended up in Springfield 20 years ago when a friend and I went to work for Battlefield Mall and started facility maintenance and management then. At the time, I was contracted by the mall to oversee and facilitate the maintenance, the construction, and custodial of the mall, and that grew into overseeing quite a few malls for that contractor. And then the opportunity came up about 11 years ago to move to Ozarks Technical Community College, where I went to work for the previous mall manager. And that has just been a huge success coming over here and making that transition to education. But OTC is the third largest community college in Missouri, and we have 6 campuses right now. We're looking at adding on here to some of those campuses here in the next 12 to 24 months. So, it's just been a blessing to come to the education side of things. But my background did not, once I started in facility management, I did not come into it through a trade. Right. I know a lot of facility managers, they may have a trade to fall back on. I did not take that path. I came through it with hard knocks, I guess, a true PhD. Yep. So I kind of got thrown into the fire at Battlefield Mall here in Springfield, and just capitalized on coming to the education side.
Figure it out. That's what you did. That's good. Yeah. Springfield, Missouri is a place that fellow board member Sean Dilday's Springfield Public Schools, and I was at an event at one of their schools a couple months ago. And Route 66 runs through Springfield, Missouri. And I was taking the scenic route to the meeting, and I drove by this spot that it had this nest with a big statue of a buzzard, and it said buzzard eggs for sale. And so I came to the meeting, and I said to everybody, I said, I had no idea that you could actually buy buzzard eggs. I can't imagine they're good, but somebody's got a market for them. And Sean looked at me, he says, what in the world are you talking about? And I said, you don't know, you live here in Springfield. It's right down the street. And it was a joke. It was someone's lawn ornament or something right off of Route 66. And he had never seen it, either that or he never paid attention to it, because buzzard eggs for sale is a good joke in Springfield for people like me from Boston. So gullible, but no, that's interesting, because you're fairly unique in the industry. Now, community colleges in many areas, you just kind of said you're growing, and you're the second largest in the state. Are you still growing significantly with enrollment?
Right now, our enrollment is not dipping. We are pretty much staying flat, which is unusual, because right now in higher education, they are, as a trend, they are seeing a dip in enrollment. A lot of our sister community colleges are seeing some decreases, but we have continued to stay pretty much flat. Right now, we're showing a small uptick going into the fall semester, but trends are showing that most colleges will see a significant decrease over the next 3 years.
Yeah. Well, one of those reasons is skilled labor, right? We've had such a need for skilled labor and such a lack of interest. And now people are seeing what the college costs and significant college costs for traditional 4-year schools. And many are opting for trade schools, because your voc tech schools around the country have waiting lists, right? They're people that are getting out of high school and they're going into apprenticeship programs. And community college, I'm a product of community college, full disclosure, never graduated, probably went for 3 years and probably still considered a second semester freshman. So college wasn't for me, but it was a great place for me to go and get my feet wet and figure it out. And it's affordable, right? So community college is a great opportunity. So I'm guessing that your additional campus, you're probably extending your programming, you're broadening kind of your offerings for your students.
Yeah, we recently built a center for advanced manufacturing that opened up just a year ago, actually a year ago this month, which is, robotic welding, mechatronics. It is a different level of industrial technology, which is huge for those trades. But it's also recognizing, where is economic development headed, and where do people want to be trained up in? And so all of our campuses, though, we try to recognize what the needs are in that service area and cater to those programs in those areas.
Yeah, Raymond, I got to tell you just sold me on going back to college on one thing. I can go back for mechatronics.
Yep. I mean, it's impressive. If I know Kyle up in I think he's in Lee Summit.
Yep.
He's got an impressive building up there.
Oh, yeah, the Innovation Center. Yeah. Yeah, we did.
And it's one of the ones that we actually toured before we built ours.
Yep.
So
yeah, we recorded 4 or 5 episodes in there and spent 2 days, and it's a very impressive space. And what's interesting is when you build an impressive space, you typically get impressive people. Right? You get people that want to do these dynamic programs, these economic, like you say, these economic opportunity programs that they can get out and they can do something, make a difference, using new technology or new ideas. It is definitely pretty cool. So it's interesting. You guys are kind of in the middle ground from a community college. When a community college is, you don't have all of the same things to relate on the 4-year college, especially because you don't have typically don't have boarding. There's very few. As a matter of fact, the only one I know is now a 4-year school, which is Dean College in Franklin, Massachusetts. They had boarding as a community college. I don't know many others that have that. So you have day students, but you have some added complexities. You have some added complexities and some that are taken away, right? You don't have buses coming every day, but you've got all the more cars that are parking in your lots. You have an open campus setting that is not like a public K-12 school where there's people that are grown adults that are coming and going at all hours. And so I guess tell me I mean, I think that there's really a closer fit to the public K-12 from a facility and operations management that for K-12 and community college than there is in the 4-year traditional college. And I'm guessing that's what you guys found fit to. But how did it all come about that community colleges got involved with MSPMA and their need to kind of have this synergy? Because I think it's a great fit.
Yeah, obviously I do too, Josh. A few years back, there's national organizations, there's regional organizations, and they some of them tend to cater to higher education, which community colleges are a part of. But when I was looking to find an organization that we could be a part of or more involved with than being overlooked, because some of your higher education, and nothing against them at all, I'm not saying anything about it, but they tend to gravitate towards those national organizations, which is great. But for us, we are a true commuter school. Similar to, we have a lot of similarities. You kind of touched on it. We have a lot of similarities with K through 12 schools. Being a commuter school, our students come and go. Our average age is 19. So they're fresh out of that K through 12 mix. So, for us, with no athletics, no dorms, we just tend to be more in line with what K through 12 is doing. So when you talk about networking and the opportunity to work with like professionals, for us and community colleges, we fall more in line with that K through 12 landscape than we do some of those larger national organizations.
Yeah, no, I think that's spot on. And you're right. It's, again, it's that you're that hard, we'll call you that hard middle child, right? You're and that's what it is, really. It's you're in that middle space of like, yeah, I kind of fit here and I kind of fit here. But I think that when you talk about from a people perspective, you fit obviously with the higher ed side of things, but with the operational, the brick and mortar and the day-to-day, it's definitely a great synergy. And there's a lot to learn and offer. And I'm seeing a lot more synergy with public K-12s and community colleges or state-run organizations, right? So there's a new synergy with a lot of what you're seeing and saying with the trends where, the guidance of guiding kids that might not be ready for a dormitory or something are coming to your day school. So tell me, so you got involved with MSPMA. I think that, tell me how many community colleges are there, just out of curiosity. I don't know how many there are in the state.
In the state of Missouri, there are 12 community colleges.
Okay. And do they all have multiple campuses, or are they kind of, each one's kind of unique?
So with the way that the community college system is set up, they all have probably multiple campuses, but they all have a service district, if you will. So like for OTC, we have like a 12 county district that we service.
Yeah.
And that used to be strict. That's it. Recently, though, that's kind of opened up a little bit, so you can expand those boundaries.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out in the future. But right now, we service 12 counties in Southwest Missouri.
Okay. Very cool. And one of the things that just popped in my brain, because I just had one high school tell me about this. Do any of the community colleges in Missouri use high schools as satellite campuses? Because you said you get 6 and coming on 7. Are they all typically in Missouri? Are they all typically run and managed by the college, or are they outsourcing and building, using space in high schools for night programs and things?
So I don't know how other community colleges approach that.
Yeah.
I can tell you what OTC does. So at our Republic and Lebanon and Waynesville satellite campuses, in Republic, we actually have an agreement with the Republic High School where we offer up 2 classrooms throughout the week each semester for them to utilize for students. In Lebanon and Waynesville, we have the co-op agreements with some 4-year universities to allow them space so that they can come in and, you know, you could be in Lebanon and get a 4-year degree and never leave Lebanon through a partnership and agreement with Missouri State. We also in Waynesville have an agreement that we're working on with Columbia College, and we also do have some classes at the at Fort Leonard Wood. So
Cool.
That's how we approach it. We try to offer up available spaces. And here on the main campus in Springfield, we have a huge partnership with Springfield Public Schools for our middle college.
Yeah, and for those listeners that aren't aware, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Springfield Public Schools is the largest school district population-wise, student enrollment-wise in the state of Missouri.
I believe that is correct.
Yeah. North Kansas City, I think, is second. My Boston, my knowledge in Boston from Plant City, Florida of Missouri is pretty good, right? I'm just pulling it all out today here. So, so let's get down to the piece about that relates to MSPMA. First of all, in the few times that I've talked to you and getting to know you, and I look forward to getting to know you more and seeing you in person, I'm assuming in Branson next month. What I've seen evident from you, and now I'm learning that it's most likely because you were trial by fire, you position professional development pretty high up on the list of things, continuing education and professional development of your skill, your profession, pretty high up there on the list of things to do and be a part of. Tell me a little bit about kind of what you did, how you've put that for you and your team, and why you find it so important. Like what was the trigger effect that said, hey, I could just be a director of buildings and grounds for community college and come to work every day. Or I could be a director of building and grounds every day and find professional development opportunities for me and my team to even better the outcome for our community, our kids, and our campuses.
Yeah. So, I mean, in facilities management, you know, especially in education, we may not directly facilitate or teach students, but we have a huge impact on their success in everything we do. We provide heating and cooling and comfort and lighting, all of those things, including cleanliness, that help in their success. But for our group, you know, we put a very huge, big bullseye on professional development and being a part of organizations such as MSPMA. We have myself, I've completed the core certification course. I've got 2 other supervisors currently going through that. And we've had some custodians take some professional development through MSPMA. But we don't just do it to say we're doing it. We've had to put a financial piece on it. Every year we have increased our professional development budget so that we can continue to grow our not just our leaders, but grow our employees into leaders so that one day they can run these facilities.
I couldn't have teed you up any better on that one. I mean, you answered that the way that I would want anyone that comes on this podcast or anyone I talk to about the importance of facilities and professional development. And it's the role you play that's behind the scenes to get the job done, to provide that environment. I was just at a school district down here that was, you know, I'm in Florida. I think I said that in the podcast. If I didn't, I apologize. I've been on the road for 4 days straight. I've been to Philadelphia, New Jersey, Georgia, Alabama. Now I'm in Florida finishing up the week. And I made a couple of school visits here today. And one of them I went into, and there's a full service in-service day. And this building has 2 chillers, 250-ton chillers, and one of them's offline. And so you have to make that immediate decision to run that one 250-ton chiller at full blast 24/7, right? So you gotta make that immediate decision to make that happen, in the hopes, and it's not a guarantee because you're 50% efficiency, right? In the hopes that building is going to be comfortable enough for that in-service day tomorrow, and how imperative it is. And if people didn't have oversight or were paying attention to that 24/7, and everything was running the way that it normally would, then they be coming into a very uncomfortable environment, right? And that'd be a compromising the day. So learning and expanding and doing all that is vitally important. And I love to hear, and it's funny. And I'm not saying this just because I've fallen in love with Missouri in the last year and the people and the places in this podcast. I have found Missouri to be overall one of the most impressive states, from leadership throughout districts and community colleges, where, and especially in operations, where they put a really strong emphasis on continuing education and professional development. I think it's partly due to the certification program that MSPMA has, and the promotion that they're doing. They just had the highest number of graduates. I think it was 46 last year. They've got quite a few in the system for this year. I think a lot of it is the programming and just kind of the exposure that MSPMA puts out there to the world. But I'm just so impressed. I have more calls from Missouri to come out and work with teams and schools. And because I always ask why, right? I want to know why you want me coming out there. And almost always they're like, because we want to raise our professional development, our appearance, our customer service, our leadership, our teamwork, our mindset, our attitude, whatever. It's a bunch of things. But they're looking to invest in that. And I'm just so impressed with it. And you said it perfectly. So thank you. So that brings us to MSPMA. Who's coming from the community colleges? Do you guys have a pretty good contingent of colleges coming to the event? And were you guys there last year?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So this year we're reaching out to the community colleges, hoping to get some strong participation from them, especially this year with the collaborative effort with MCCA and registration. So we're trying to introduce those efforts to gain some participation from the other 11 community colleges. But OTC will be there this year. We're bringing a few participants, some that are going through the core certification right now, and hopefully a couple of others that just received some certification through training. So
good. MCCA, that if you got an award, you got recognized. Is that MCCA?
yes.
All right.
Yeah, so last November I received the Administrative Professional Leadership Award through MCCA. That's an award that's given annually. I was very, very fortunate, but I was very happy to get it last year because last year was the first time that it had been held in person since the outbreak of COVID.
Oh yeah.
So that was it was a big deal for the community colleges first to have the event, but each community college nominates one person from their college, and so I guess in a review of those nominations, I was the fortunate recipient. So I was happy to get that award on behalf of OTC.
I'll tell you, that says a lot when you are nominated by your peers. That's a pretty big pat on the back for you, that you're doing good things and people are recognizing it. So congratulations on that. And that's just wonderful. I don't think I knew that was a nominated like that award. So that's pretty cool. So what's, if you were to have a crystal ball, let's wrap up with a crystal ball question, because those are always like, you're like, oh, great, what's he going to ask? But if you had a crystal ball, what would you want to see next for expansion, or what would you want to see next for community colleges in the great state of Missouri from a from a MSPMA professional development? Is there something in your mind that you say, man, this would be really cool if we could do this, or if we could add this, specific program? Or is there something out there that there's a hole that needs to be filled to help you and your peers across the state?
I think that if I had a crystal ball and what I'd like to do, and it kind of goes back to the previous question with participation in the annual conference coming up from community colleges. The first thing I'd like to see is to get those remaining community colleges involved in an organization of like minds.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is perfect for MSPMA. I think MSPMA is that bridge to
Mm-hmm.
get those remaining community colleges together in a room with the others, and not those 12, including us, in with other organizations that are much larger, much bigger, a lot more money than community colleges. Even though the education in community colleges is your best bang for your buck, they don't always translate those dollars into professional development.
Yep.
And so I think that this is the perfect organization to bridge that gap and to bring us all together with the K through 12, because we run more in line with what K through 12 does than we do all 4-year colleges.
Yeah.
We just do not fit that mold.
Yeah. No, I think that's right. And I think that I can tell you, I've worked with a couple of statewide initiatives with community college programs. And I'll tell you, and I don't know if it's like this in Missouri, but I think it's like this everywhere. A lot of times we get stuck in our own way of being in the island that we're on, right? We get stuck in our own campus. We can't leave. We can't do this. We can't do that. And I remember the first time that I got an entire state of community colleges in a room together, the discussions that happened, and we have that same problem here. Oh my God, I can't believe you deal with that. Or here's a quick fix. I can remember going way back in my career, 2005 maybe. There was a company that came out. I don't know if it's still out because it's so simplistic in thought. It was called Watt Stopper. And it was essentially a sensor that shut off vending machines. You bought this sensor, and it was a motion activated vending machine activator for the lights, not for the cooling or anything else, but it turned on and off the lights. And so I remember these community colleges were all together and we talked about it. And one of the community colleges was like, yeah, we have like 200 vending machines, because you don't know how many, you don't pay attention to it if you're just looking at one. When you look at the entire campus and every building, and they have one or two, and they have this. And he says, I saved $50,000 on this $250, piece of equipment, and I can show you how. And it was like, wow, that's really cool. Guess what all the community colleges did? First thing they did when they left, they all bought Watt Stoppers. And it was over 15 college campuses, and that's over $600,000 real money that was saved just based on a 2-hour conversation of, hey guys, what's working, what's not working, what's the best practice, what's a great vendor to work with. What do you think about the autonomous auto scrubbers? That's my number one question. I'm not a custodial expert, but I've seen a couple of those things, and they're pretty wild.
Yeah.
And I think there's pros and cons to it. And so, but the best way to figure out the pros and cons is people that put them into practice, and you're almost guaranteed to have someone that's putting something into practice with everything. So I think that's a great rub on the crystal ball there. And I'd love to see it too. So, hopefully we have a community college room next year that's got all your peers and all the campuses over in Branson.
That's the goal.
Well, that'd be very cool. Well, listen, I know it's it's getting close to, I don't know, it's getting close to closing time here. So it's probably getting close to closing time there. I'm all over the place with hours. I was actually in the first and only community district that's in two time zones. You know, right when you figure out right when you figure things out, you go and you get something that happens like that. But yesterday when I was in Alabama, this school district has 2 different time zones. You talk about adding complexity to your life just with scheduling buses. Crossing that timeline. Pretty wild. They're doing some great stuff. I was on Chambers County, Alabama. They're doing some really great stuff there. So, but listen, this has been great. Was this your first podcast?
Yeah.
I typically ask that question, but you seem like such a seasoned veteran. I didn't want to look like a fool asking that. You knocked it out of the park for your rookie appearance. I look forward to having you on again. Now you can't say no because I know you can do it.
Yeah. No, I appreciate the offer, and hopefully we can take this and garner some participation from other community colleges.
Yeah.
And if not them, maybe some more K through 12 members.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, keep up the awesome work that you're doing. As I say, I'm a huge advocate and proponent for community colleges across the country. I think you do amazing work, and you provide a place for people, like you say. It is absolutely the best bang for your buck. If you are a parent, there was definitely a negative connotation on if you were going to community college when I graduated high school in the early 90s. It's changed a lot. It's a lot better. If you want to go for mechatronics, you got a place to go right there, right? So head over to Springfield and check out Raymond's team and what they're doing over there. So I will look forward to meeting you in person, my friend, and getting a chance to talk to you, meeting up with you in person, and getting a chance to talk to you here next month in wonderful Branson. And we've got the conferences coming up. I mean, it's right around the corner. We're what, 6 weeks away? I got to pull this up. I can't believe it. We're already here in August, but September 24th to the 26th, there are no vendor spaces. I found out there is no space for vendors. So get yourself on the wait list. Get a hold of Charlie Branham. Charlie and the board, you guys have all done just outstanding work in getting the word out and building this sense of urgency and need for people to get registered early. So no vendor spaces left. There are spaces for attendees. The hotel rooms are filling up fast, and when they're gone, they're gone. So register as soon as you possibly can, because I believe, I don't know if you've gotten the latest numbers on attendees, but it sounds like it's a significant increase based on same time last year. You guys are you could be looking at a 20 or 30% increase in attendance from the previous year. That's pretty solid. So great job by all. MSPMA.com is where you can get more information. Did I miss anything, my friend?
I don't think so.
Covered all the bases. I got the word out. I got the address. I got the website. So you definitely want to sign up and register soon. You can also get more information on the certification program, which is what Raymond was saying. He got some of his team through. It's an awesome program. I've watched it from the outside for the last year, and I'm very impressed. It's one of the best out there. So you get more information about that there. And appreciate you taking some time out of your day here, my friend. And we'll talk soon in person.
All right. Thank you, Josh.
Awesome. That will do it for this episode. We are wrapping it up here as always. We're getting a lot of downloads, a lot of views, a lot of people watching our YouTube videos. Casey Hausman's still holding the record for number of downloads. It's his promotion on social media, I think, that's getting it. So thank you, Casey. You're helping our visibility. But on top of what Casey's doing, if we're doing a good job here, please, if you could give us a 5-star rating and review, that really builds up our knowledge of having credibility for people to want to listen and give us a chance. If we're not a 5-star, don't click anything else. Call us or email me, Josh at BeAwesome, and that's BeAusm.com, JOSH@BeAusm. Send me a note. What can we do better? Who can we have on? Do you want to hear less of me and more of the guests? I tend to get on my soapbox sometimes. I know that. I'm working on it. But a 5-star rating review goes a really long way. We're going to have another episode up here in the next week or so, and really appreciate you coming along the journey with us. So we're coming up on a 1-year anniversary. So we're maybe what we're going to do is have all the guests on for a 1-year Brady Bunch window style episode and do a year recap. So stay tuned for that. In the meanwhile, for those of you that are in the trenches right now in August, getting ready for the kids to come back, or some of you have the kids coming back, thank you for all the hard work you and your team have done. I know that you guys try to fill a year's worth of projects in 60 days. And then you have to maintain, manage, clean, and take care of all of the things that come up and preventive maintenance and everything over once the kids are back in. But thank you for all the work that you're doing and the quick work that you've done. And I know you're tired, and the home stretch for many of you, a couple more weeks. So stay at it. Thank you for your work that you do, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.